He only disappears on Thursdays. Part 4.
My blood turned ice cold instantly. The message glowed against the darkness of the kitchen like something alive.
He should have kept running.
Then another appeared.
Now we know where he sleeps.
I couldn't breathe. Actually couldn't breathe. My whole body locked while panic moved through me so violently I thought I might faint. At first my brain tried to deny reality automatically. Spam, prank, scam, wrong number, anything normal. Please God, let this still somehow be normal. But deep down, somewhere underneath denial, I already knew. I looked toward the living room instinctively. He was asleep on the couch, one arm over his eyes, breathing deeply, looking exhausted, human, safe, and suddenly rage exploded through my chest so hard it shocked me. Because this wasn't theoretical anymore. This wasn't hidden passports and confusing stories and emotional gray areas. Someone knew where we lived, someone knew about us, about our daughter. And suddenly, every sacrifice I made emotionally for love felt stupid, dangerous, unforgivable. I walked toward him so fast my legs barely felt connected to my body. Wake up! Nothing. Wake up. Harder this time. His eyes opened instantly, not slowly, instantly, alert, immediately. And suddenly I saw it again, that version of him, the one underneath the man I knew. Sharp, focused, dangerous. His eyes scanned the room before fully landing on me. Training, instinct, fear. Then he saw my face. Then instantly something changed.
What happened?
I shoved the phone toward him. His expression emptied completely while reading the messages. Not panic. Worse. Recognition. God. Recognition. Silence swallowed the apartment, then quietly.
How long ago?
That question terrified me more than the message itself. Not who sent this? Not what is this? How long ago? Meaning he already understood exactly what this was. 5 minutes, maybe. He stood immediately, fast, too fast, moving through the apartment with terrifying efficiency. Windows, locks, curtains, lights off, every movement practiced. My stomach twisted harder with every second, because people don't move like that unless they've done this before. Many times before. Alexander, he looked at me sharply.
Get the baby.
Baby, not daughter, not her name, baby, like instinct, took over language completely. Fear flooded my bloodstream instantly. I ran toward her room, hands shaking violently. My daughter, still asleep, curled around her stuffed rabbit, completely innocent, completely defenseless. I lifted her into my arms too quickly. She stirred sleepily.
Mama?
Shh, baby. My voice barely worked. I held her against my chest while my brain spiraled uncontrollably. Was somebody outside right now, watching us? How long had they known? How close were we to something terrible happening without realizing it? When I walked back into the living room, he was pulling cash from somewhere underneath the couch. Stacks, thick stacks. My body froze instantly because suddenly another horrifying realization hit me. I truly had no idea who this man was financially either. He looked at me once, just once, and suddenly I saw actual fear in his face for the first time since this started. Not fear for himself, for us. That somehow made everything emotionally worse.
We need to leave.
The sentence hit me like cold water. Leave at 3 a.m. with a child? My brain physically struggled to process reality. What? Now? Still calm, still controlled, which somehow terrified me more than yelling would have. I stared at him while panic collided with disbelief. This couldn't be happening. People like us don't flee apartments in the middle of the night. That happens in movies, not after grocery shopping and daycare pickup and pancake breakfasts, not to ordinary women, but maybe that was the problem. Maybe I was never living an ordinary life at all. My daughter started crying softly against my shoulder, confused by the tension.
Mama.
I kissed her hair immediately, trying not to shake, trying not to let my terror enter her body too. That's motherhood. Even while breaking apart internally, you still try making fear feel safe for your children. He moved toward the hallway closet quickly, then stopped suddenly, completely still, every muscle in his body tightening at once. My stomach dropped instantly. What? He slowly looked toward the front door, then whispered.
Somebody's outside.
Every cell in my body turned to ice. No, 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 no. I physically couldn't move. My daughter whimpered softly against me, sensing panic everywhere now. And suddenly the apartment felt tiny, fragile, unsafe. 3 soft knocks hit the door. Not loud. That somehow made it worse. Slow, controlled, confident, like whoever stood outside wasn't nervous at all. My knees almost gave out instantly. I looked at him. God, his face emotionless, completely emotionless, not fear, not panic, calculation. Then quietly,
Go into the bathroom. Lock it.
I couldn't breathe. Alexander.
Now.
The sharpness in his voice shocked me into movement. I ran, actually ran, locked the bathroom door, shaking violently while clutching our daughter against my chest. She started crying harder immediately. Mama scared. God, that sentence nearly killed me. I slid onto the bathroom floor, holding her tightly while every possible horror scenario exploded inside my head. Then silence, no yelling, no gunshots, nothing. Just silence that somehow felt even more terrifying. Then I heard his voice faintly through the apartment. Calm, speaking another language, low, controlled, not English. My blood froze instantly. I had never heard him speak like that before. The tone itself sounded different, harder, older somehow, like another version of him existed underneath the man I knew. Minutes passed, or maybe seconds. Time stopped feeling real. Then finally, footsteps approached slowly, a knock at the bathroom door. My entire body locked instantly.
It's me.
Silence, I still couldn't move.
They're gone.
Gone. Who? Why were they here? I opened the door slowly. He stood there alone. No visible injuries, no blood, nothing dramatic, which somehow felt psychologically worse because normality surrounding terror makes terror feel more real. Who was that? Long silence. Then finally,
A warning.
warning, like this was normal language for him, like people threatening families in the middle of the night existed casually inside his world. I stared at him while something inside me emotionally shifted permanently. Not fear exactly anymore, awareness, the kind you can never reverse. My daughter clung to me, crying softly. He looked at her, and something inside his face collapsed completely. Actual pain. Then quietly,
I'm sorry.
and suddenly rage exploded through me. Finally, real rage. Sorry. You brought this to our child. My voice cracked violently, years of trust breaking apart all at once. Do you understand what you've done? He just stood there taking it, not defending himself, which somehow made me angrier. I should take her and leave. The second I said it, his entire face changed. Not violent, worse, devastated, real devastation. And for the first time all night, he looked truly helpless.
You can't.
That sentence froze me instantly, not because it sounded threatening, because it sounded terrified. What does that mean? His breathing became uneven finally, first real crack in his control.
If they think I lost you, they stop needing me cooperative.
My stomach dropped violently. Cooperative. What does that even mean? How deep was this? How long had this been happening? Then finally the truth started unraveling differently. Not just criminals, not just money, information, people, connections. Alexander wasn't simply hiding. He was useful. Still, that's why he survived. That's why we survived. And suddenly I understood something horrifying. Thursday nights weren't only protection. They were transactions. I stared at him, unable to process anything anymore. You said you left quietly.
I tried.
Tried, God, that word. Not escaped, not ended. Tried, meaning some part of this nightmare still owned pieces of him. Then suddenly, my daughter reached toward him, crying,
Daddy.
and everything shattered emotionally again. Because children don't understand hidden identities. She only saw the man who read bedtime stories, the man who kissed, scraped knees, the man who made pancakes shaped like dinosaurs. And he looked at her like his entire soul was breaking apart, slowly, publicly, right in front of me. He stepped closer carefully, like approaching something fragile, then touched her tiny hand, and suddenly tears filled his eyes instantly. Real tears.
I never wanted her inside this.
That sentence hurt because I believed him completely, and maybe that was the cruelest part of all. The man terrifying me also genuinely loved us. Morning started arriving slowly outside, gray light through curtains, birds beginning somewhere beyond the parking lot, ordinary life continuing while ours disintegrated. Then suddenly his phone rang, one ring only. He stared at the screen, and for the first time since I met him, I watched fear enter his face completely. Not controlled fear, real fear. He answered immediately, speaking that same language again. Sharp, fast, then silence, listening, his entire body tightening harder every second. Finally,
Niet.
then the call ended. He looked at me, and suddenly I knew before he spoke. Whatever came next would change everything. Quietly, he said,
We have to disappear.